y'all, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 86 of the 815 Exchange. And well, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and and that wasn't even the first sign of Armageddon, because it's upon us. It's upon us. It's war now. It's happening. It can't be prevented. Pray for the state of North Carolina. But we'll get to that. This isn't going to be as much of a jumbo episode as last week. Could be a quicker one, but I don't like to make those bets, because I could say that and then you still see me at 58, 57. So I'm not going to make any guarantees, but of course we still have plenty to talk about, even if it's not as much as we usually do, especially, like I said, in college basketball with the impending Civil War in North Carolina. But, as always, appreciate all the love recently. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And, as always, timestamps. If you're looking for the NFL segment, you want to hear me talk about Cheetah to Miami, you want to hear me talk about the entertainment specter, right? We had Keshi, we had Tory Lanez drop, talked about winning time. You want to hear me talk about that, feel free to skip ahead. It's long-form content. I get how it is. You want to watch a certain clip, you want to watch me talk about a certain topic, feel free to, as always. That and my social medias are in the description. Always provided every single video. At least every single video of the 815 Exchange. Not so much on the reaction stuff, but on the 815 Exchange, we always got that for you. And without further ado, no need to prolong this intro, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. It's been a mad March. So naturally, we got a very blue blood-esque Final Four. But how did we get there? All right, let's go to the Elite Eight and see what happened. Starting us off, we had Villanova and Houston play one of the worst games of basketball probably ever played. And that is fresh off the heels of me saying that last week about a game, and probably the week before. Okay, there has been some, I don't know if it's the new ball, but there's been some great games, don't get me wrong. This NCAA tournament has been an all-timer. We've had some fantastic games, even though somehow we have not had a buzzer beater, despite all the close games, which is funny. But we've also had some god-awful shooting nights. I mean, some god-awful shooting nights. And this was one of them. All right, Villanova and Houston was not a pretty game of basketball. In fact, Duke, spoiler alert, outscored both of these teams, well, except for Villanova, and they were only 5 points behind Villanova if you just took what Duke did at halftime. This was an ugly game, okay? Nova got the win 50-44. Jay White gets his Villanova group once again to the Final Four. Even year Villanova, always a dangerous team. Houston shot 1 for 20 from 3. 5%, 1 for 20. It was the worst three-point night in Houston since James Harden did whatever he did in that playoff series. Both teams went under 30%, not from 3, not just from 3, but from the field. So everybody, I think the highest was, I think Nova shot 29.8, which technically is 30, but we're not going to count that. That's under 30% from the field. Both teams. It was disgusting. It was a disgusting display of basketball. The defense was pretty good, but the offense was revolting. Jermaine Samuels, though, 16 and 10, he gets the double-double win for Nova. They're always going to be a dangerous team. Even with Justin Moore, unfortunately, at the end of that game, you hate to see it, the Achilles tear as we expected. You hate to see that. Absolutely hate to see that, especially that late in the game. Game's pretty much, well, it's not right. It was pretty much wrapped up. That was one of the clinching plays. It's just a tough situation. It's a tough situation for Villanova. They're not that deep of a team already, but, I would never bet against Jay Wright, right? It's very hard to bet against Jay Wright, one of the best, if not arguably the best head coach in all of college basketball right now. So, can't count out Nova, but they win a very ugly Elite Eight game, but all that matters is they're going to the Final Four. Now, let's talk about it, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the tales of me and my favorite team, the dear old team from Durham, North Carolina, the Duke Blue Devils. You've seen me go back and forth with this team. In fact, losing all hope after North Carolina tried to take our heart after beating us in Coach Hayes' last home game at Cameron. And for weeks, For weeks, I sat here in front of this camera and I said, this is the week, or this is the game. I said on Twitter, I'd say, this is the game. This is when it ends. I'm ready. I am prepared. Because I've become numb. And I didn't think there was a way that this Duke team could bring me back. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I sit to you March 28th, 2022. And after the Duke Blue Devils went against the Arkansas Razorbacks and got the win 78-69, and it wasn't that close, if I'm being honest. I'm back. Not that I really ever left, because there was always that little part of me that was like, this is just reverse psychology. I am back. I am riding and dying with this team. If I get hurt, I am going to get hurt. Now, unfortunately, the circumstances in which I might get hurt might be too much, but I'm riding with this team. I'm riding with this team. As I rode with them from game one through everything we've been through, I am going to ride with this Duke team till the wheels fall off. And if that's I will talk about what's going to happen on Saturday. But Duke gets the win 78-69. Like I said, AJG finally 18 points for AJ. He gets it done. Paulo, I mean, he's the only one left out of Bari and Chet. So you make that decision how you want to make that decision, right? You can make that decision of who's the number one pick. But there's only one of the top three that's still left and still playing at this level. And it's Paulo Banchero. 16-7 for Paulo. And, of course, Coach Tay telling him to not jinx it about who he wanted to play. Mark Williams has been huge. After that, I mean, a major reason why North Carolina was able to get the win versus us in that last regular season game wasn't Mark Williams. He let Armando Bacot get off. And sure, Bacot's gotten off. We'll talk about Bacot later on against St. Peter's. Bacot's a fantastic player, but listen, Mark Williams is also a very, very good center, and he definitely had a letdown game in that one. He's been much better here in the tournament. 12-10 for Big Mark. And ladies and gentlemen, also, JD Note, I heard you were talking reckless about us getting favorable calls, which is very cute. Because there wasn't really, favorable calls in this game. We just kind of beat the brakes off you guys. And also, it would have probably helped, for you supposedly being that guy, JD, for you supposedly being the man for that Arkansas team, 18 points a game, if you had any type of, future, as a basketball player and weren't just a volume scorer, maybe you could say something. Maybe you knew how to get to the line if you didn't shoot, 3 for 16 or 5 for 14 or 5 from 17 every game, maybe you would have something to stand on. But as far as I'm concerned, you don't have anything to stand on. A lot of hype around you, but I don't see it. I'm going to be honest, I don't see the hype with JD Note. He can fill it up as long as he takes about 20, 30 shots. Yeah, he took 30 shots in the Sweet 16 just to get to 20 points. But we won't say anything. We won't say anything about that. It's favorable calls and not the fact that you are bad at the one thing you were supposed to be good at. But I digress. Arkansas, fantastic team. Muss is a great head coach. I think Arkansas, they got the number 2 class in the country coming in, I think behind us, actually. So, yeah, I could very much see them getting back again. I'm a big Muss fan. JD Note, talking reckless, you're a bum. Duke, I guess we're back. But I'll talk about our opponents in the Final Four. But before that, let me talk about Villanova's opponent because, Kansas left no doubt. They left absolutely no doubt against the U. They get the win 76-50. It wasn't ever close. It wasn't ever close. Shout out to Isaiah Wong though, 15. He got them here. Was big in the Sweet 16 against Iowa State. But their luck ran out, right? Their luck ran out, and that's the story. That was the story of Sunday. Luck running out for the 2 Cinderellas. Wong though, 15. Another solid game. If he doesn't declare, which I don't think he will, he should be one of the better players as he was this year, but definitely one of the better players in the ACC next year. I would be willing to bet. Somebody that is declaring though is Oche. Man has been unleashed this past weekend. After some down games for Oche Ajibe, Oche came back in a big way. That lob in the Sweet 16 was nuts. That poster lob against Providence. But yeah, he came back big time. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for Oche. And he's a big reason why Kansas got it done. McCormick had 15 in like 20 minutes as well. So yeah, Kansas, honestly, a lot of people I feel like are sleeping on them, and they've got to be up there. I mean, I almost picked them to win the championship as is. So I'm not surprised to see Kansas in this Final Four. I think Bill Self has a very, very good team. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we sat on the brink following that Duke win versus Arkansas. We sat on the brink of DEFCON 1, of apocalypse, of Armageddon, of an all-out war. The worst case scenario, the darkest timeline. That is what we sat upon, and it was on the Peacocks, ladies and gentlemen. It was on everybody's favorite team, with everybody's favorite coach, with everybody's favorite mustache. The St. Peter's Peacocks had to pull off a monumental upset against North Carolina to prevent the worst. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. UNC got the win by 20, 69-49. Nice. Baycott, like I said, 20 and 22. He's one of the best big men in the country. Bias aside, he's one of the best big men in the country. He's put up the numbers to prove it. All right, he's a problem. All right, Armando Baycott is a problem. And if you've been following basketball, that really shouldn't be a problem. Brady Manick is also a problem. He is a great shooting big man, and honestly, I'm very interested to see how his game translates to the league. Because a big man that can shoot usually does himself pretty well. Probably won't ever be like a star or a superstar or anything like that, but should be able to manage out a reasonable career. And Manick has been great down the stretch, and alongside Baycott and one of the guards seemingly stepping up, like Caleb Love in the Sweet 16. A big reason why Hubert Davis's Carolina team is where they are now in the Final Four. Manick had 19 and 8 in this game. Shaheem Holloway, legend. What a run for the greatest Cinderella of all time. Nearly made the Final Four. That had been absolutely insane. But a hell of a run. They made it better for everybody. I mean, they made this tournament better for everybody involved, except I guess for the teams they knocked off. And it was a tough list, but it was fun. Shout out to St. Peter's. Shaheem Holloway, I think he's headed to Seton Hall, so congrats to Shaheem. I'm not surprised. I knew somebody was about to give him a blank check after the coaching job he did in this tournament. But yeah, St. Peter's, appreciate you. UNC, you were always the villains. Let's be real. Stop acting like you were the heroes. Now, of course, that leaves us with Kansas versus Villanova, which, of course, is a very big matchup. I think I got Kansas just because it's going to be tough without Moore, and I think Kansas is a better team. But the bigger matchup at hand, of course, is one of the biggest matchups in college basketball history. It's the ultimate Duke-Carolina game. It's the biggest Duke-Carolina game ever. For the first time, the greatest rivalry possibly in all of college sports, and one of the greatest rivalries just in sports, will match up with everything on the line. All of the stakes. Now, there's always stakes in a Duke-Carolina game, but this one has more stakes than any before. So on the biggest stage, the Final Four, this is for everything. It is also following Carolina's humiliation of Duke in Coach K's last home game. Revenge will be on mine of the Blue Devils, as it's also possibly a chance for North Carolina to prove the ultimate checkmate of not only stealing the grand celebration away in the last home game, but retiring their greatest devil in his last game. This is Coach K's last game potentially. It's also a game in which Duke is probably going to be expected to win, probably going to be the favorite. This is an unlosable game for Duke. It is beyond a must-win. It is not fathomable. They cannot expect to return back to Durham without winning this game. This game is bigger than the national championship. The national championship does not matter. And I know that sounds crazy. But I, as a fan, and I'm telling you, probably those players as well, even though the national championship would be sweet if they can get to it and get their hands on it, and that would be massive. But this game is bigger than the national championship. They can win this game and lose the national championship, but it's okay. It would get a pass. It would suck, but it would pass. They cannot, under any circumstances, lose this game. Nothing else about this season matters except for this game. And for Carolina, even though their stakes aren't as big as Duke's, they can't lose this game either. All the momentum in the world, this is their chance to get the ultimate, like I said. This is checkmate. This is the end-all, be-all. The rivalry will continue, but this is the one game that will be held against the other in arguments for years, for decades, possibly centuries to come, unless it happens again. This is the game. Doesn't get any bigger than this. With all due respect to Kansas and Nova and Kentucky and Louisville, who are also big rivals that matched up in this before, there is no bigger game than this. This is civil war in North Carolina. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be in Charlotte in North Carolina when this game takes place. I will be in Georgia. But I am not sure I'm going to have a state to come back to. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be okay, as this is probably going to be the most stressful, heart-racing game I have ever took part of in my life. I am not normally, even though I do get fired up like every great sports fan, I am not usually, one to yell at the TV. I will be yelling at whatever TV I can find with this game in Georgia. I told this Duke team to not give me hope, but they gave me hope, and now we play in the most important game in our school's history. This is it. I cannot fathom a world in which we lose this game. Not saying that we're going to win. I surely hope we do. And I didn't want this game not because I was ducking the smoke with Carolina. Oh, God, no. I would love, 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 love to play them anytime, any place, anywhere. But from the stress part and for the rivalry's sake, I did not want this game. And neither did Carolina fans. Neither did any real Carolina fans. Just like neither did any real Duke fans really want this matchup. But it is the matchup we've been given, and I bet you, and I swear to you, we will ride and we will die for this game. This will probably be one of the most watched basketball games in the history of our country and probably the world. It's war. That's what I tweeted. It's probably right there. It's war. And Carolina fans, before it gets ugly, I wish you the best in the wars to come, in the battles to come. I wish you the absolute best. I absolutely love and adore some of you. Even some of my friends that go to Carolina. I love and adore you guys. But for the next 6 days, and especially on Saturday, you are an enemy. You are an enemy. And maybe a little bit after that, depending on the result. But this is it. And hopefully Monday I'm not starting this show off with a 20-minute rant of me drowning in my sorrows because the GOAT has been retired by our greatest rival in the biggest game in our school's history. Hopefully I'm celebrating. But we'll see. But all I know is pray for the state of North Carolina and its war. Now, of course, college basketball, while the main event, clearly, as it always is in March, we have some other stuff happening. Of course, nothing really happened too much this week. It's mostly spring training in MLB, but we still have the NFL segment. And well, I don't know what the Chiefs are doing. I'm going to be honest. I guess they're trying to save money. I'm guessing they're going to pick up. Listen, this either, what they did either means they really like somebody in the draft, or they're about to make another acquisition, or they're just going to deal with not having Cheetah. Because they traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins, who now have the best 4x1 team in the league, for a first, second, 2 fourths, and a 6. 5 picks for Tyreek Hill. Listen, whether I agree with it obviously doesn't matter, but it's interesting, especially in the bloodbath that the AFC is shaping up to be. It's an interesting choice to get rid of Patrick Mahomes' greatest weapon, but I digress. Maybe getting the draft capital, maybe with whatever moves they were making. I know they signed somebody else besides Juju. I forget who though. Whatever it is, I'm sure they have a plan, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. The AFC East just got a lot better. This is a big year for Tua. All right, this is going to be a very, very big year for Tua in terms of who he is as a quarterback, whether he is that guy for the Dolphins, because they've given him the weapons. You got Gesicki, you got Waddle, and you got Tyreek Hill. That's an elite trio of weapons for you. And you got to prove that you're able to do something with it. You got a great defense. Y'all close the season out fantastically. Tua has to shut up everybody this year, and he's been given the weapons to do it. We'll see if he's able to do it, but we'll see what happens there. It's going to be an interesting story to follow. Matty Ice. I think this happened actually the day that I dropped this. I think it happened like an hour after, while I was editing, I think the trade happened. But we'll talk about it a little bit here today. Matty Ice is headed to the Colts. Sure. Why not? I think they went and got Mariota, which is interesting. But we knew the Colts were going to have to get a quarterback. Getting Matt Ryan is an upgrade, I'd say, from Carson Wentz. But we'll see. The Colts have a solid roster, still got some holes to fix, but a very solid roster. We'll see what Matt Ryan, who is a very underappreciated player, by the way. Very underappreciated. A legend in Atlanta, not as revered as he probably should be. Man's got an MVP, is probably a future Hall of Famer as well. I dare go far as saying. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he still got left in the tank as he goes to the Colts. And it's going to be playing with a much better roster than he was in the ATL. Entertainment. Before, of course, we talk about everybody's favorite underground artist, let's talk about Tory Lanez. Of course, he dropped another single back-to-back weeks. Taking Care. Tory's always great when he dips into his R&B side. I've talked about Tory a plethora of times on all 85 episodes of this podcast, right? Or 86. Nothing new here to say. It's another great track, and he's very talented. You've heard me say the same thing about Tory, and as long as he continues to make quality music, I will probably be saying the same thing, bar certain things happening outside of his music. But Taking Care, great song, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about what I really want to talk about, and that, of course, is everybody's favorite underground artist. If you are an ABG, his music has probably been belted through the speakers of whatever car during your boba date or afterwards, or while you're in the back seat or in the bedroom. Of course, I am talking about the one and only Keshi. Special artist. He's got a very special voice. I actually did record a reaction to Ango's Store, which came out on Friday along with the album, Gabriel. But of course that was blocked. UMG, I get it. That's why I didn't really upload it. I probably did because I knew it was going to get blocked. So relax, ease up. That's why also if you don't see me reacting to as many American artists that some of you suggest, or that I listen to or talk about on here, it's because the labels block it. Alright? It's because they block it and I'm not trying to get a copyright strike. So that's why we usually rock with the more Korean stuff. Because they usually block it, if I try to do us here in America. But that is the story for a complete other day. Let's talk about Keshi, right? Gabriel, it was a great album. It was a great, great album. I'm going to give it a... I'm very tempted to give it a 9. I'm very tempted to give it a 9. I'm going to give it an 8.8. I'm going to give it an 8.8 with the potential to go into 9 territory, which of course is best of territory, best of 2022 territory. I'm going to give it an 8.8 though. Still very high rating. It's just kind of determining how much the songs that I love on this album, how much am I going to love them. But overall, very, very good album. Get It. At first, I was honestly not really rocking with that song, but over time, that song has grown on me so much. I cannot get it out of my head. Of course, Somebody was one of my favorite songs of last year and remains one of my favorite songs on this album. Such a good song. Such a good song. And for those of you that are, might want to add that one to the playlist. Ango Story was fantastic as well. Love that. Off of the new songs off the album. Hell in Heaven was definitely one of the standouts amongst the others. I know Millie, West Side. There was a lot of great tracks. He showed off his versatility and him evolving as an artist, and I can always respect that. That's a strong 8.8 with the chance to be a 9. Definitely in the future may get retconned to a 9. But yeah, Gabriel, if you have not listened to it, I highly, highly recommend it. Keshi, it's one of the best voices, I dare say, on the planet. He's just a special artist, man. He's just a special artist. Possibly the next big thing, in my opinion. He's already, pretty, but I think he could be a very, very big deal. But yeah, shout out to Keshi. Absolutely killed it. Winning Time. All right, let's talk about Winning Time, shall we? This week we got Michael Cooper making his appearance. We got to see a little bit of Jack McKinney's running gun. Kind of finally get in motion. Norman Magic started to play together. Jeannie, we got to see her kind of introduce the dancers, and we're starting to get that Showtime feel. Everything's about to pick up. So yeah, everything picking up with Winning Time this week. Very much so enjoyed that series by HBO. Another great series, highly recommended, honestly. I'm going to give it the cosign, but yeah, Winning Time. Another great episode. Everything's kind of heating up. Don't expect it to be 100% factual. It's obviously a comedic, translation of events that happen, but still very enjoyable, very entertaining. It's another very good episode here in episode 4. Also, I didn't list it on my notes, but I have been watching Bridgerton, which actually been much better than the first season. Not that the first season wasn't good. The first season was pretty good as far as I remember. But this second season is I've definitely enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the first season. So yeah, shout out to Bridget. Haven't finished it yet, but definitely been better than the second season. So highly recommend that if you're into that type of show. The NBA, yes, the NBA gets its actual segment once again. It's been a minute, I know. They've been relegated to the Roundup, but we're getting very, very close to the playoffs, like a week or two away from the playoffs. So we got some big news to talk about, right? Like Zion Williamson, okay? Y'all were talking reckless about my boy, all right? Y'all were talking wild about my boy. Y'all were talking so reckless about my guy. So he had to pull out the lob off the backboard between the legs just to shut y'all up, all right? Saying he's fast and he's out overweight. He's out of shape. Came back, got cleared for one-on-ones, slowly but surely getting back. Of course, the Pelicans should not rush him, even though, of course, we all want to see Zion play. We know what type of player he is. We know how good he is, top 15 player in the league. But no need to rush him. He's the franchise. The Pelicans are doing very well without him. Only God knows how good they can be with him. Speaking of the Pelicans, they came back from 29 to beat the Lakers yesterday. LeBron, listen, I told y'all, y'all might not even make forget the playoffs. Y'all gotta worry about making me play in. Y'all one game away from not making it. I don't know how much LeBron can continue to drag this team. He had 39 in this 23-point. They gave up 23-point lead. He scored 39. Listen, it's just the Lakers are down bad. All right, the Lakers are down bad. Him winning the scoring title is going to be your only source of happiness. I'm telling you that now. The Celtics take out the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you're, Chris, why are you talking about the Celtics and the Timberwolves? Well, it's because the Celtics are like 22-3 in their last 25, and they're now the number 1 seed because Miami's in a little bit of a slump, shall we say? And Jason Tatum has been the guy. All right, pull up, shoot, Jason Tatum. Play the song, all right? Pull it up and play the song right now. Belt it out while I talk about JT. He's taking that step. We'll see if it can continue and pre-proved in the playoffs, but he's taking that step. I'm saying it right now. Shout out to JT, one of my favorite players. 34 for him in this game. Jaylen Brown, the duo looking like it's working. Sometimes all you need is time. And they've taken their time. They've been patient with them. And it's flourishing right now. Brown and Tatum have played excellently together. Tatum with 34, JB with 31. They get the win 134-112 over a Minnesota team that hasn't been doing too bad with Cat and Edwards. So, yeah, shout out to the Celtics, first seed in the East, making some noise. And, of course, let's talk about the first seed in the West. Book had 34 last night. The Suns. Not a lot of people have been talking about them. We haven't really talked about them. But they've been in my mind. Don't get it messed up. Dangerous team. They didn't make the playoffs by accident last year. All right, they did not make the finals by accident. That was not a fluke. Okay, they are real. First seed in the West for a reason. Put some respect on Phoenix's name. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup, and of course, we're gonna kick that off, of course, with my dear Captain America, and of course World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully we should be able to, bar an absolute meltdown versus Costa Rica, clinch the World Cup and avenge our sins of 4 years ago on Wednesday. Canada qualified this week, but of course we played Honduras and what really clinched it for us, or we should clinch the World Cup for us. Pulisic had a hat trick, 2 penalties, which were taken excellently, and of course an absolutely dazzling Dennis Bergkamp-esque finish, in which he begged the defender, and just it was gorgeous. All right, Pulisic, what a player! He's more than just the meme of him, the LeBron James of soccer. Dude is real. All right, he's real. Ask Chelsea fans. Ask anybody that's watching. He's real. When he's healthy, he's a fantastic player, a fantastic talent, and yeah, love Paulie. Captain America gets the Hattie that hopefully sends us to the World Cup. F1. I've really been getting into F1 recently. I'm gonna be honest. I've really been falling for F1, if I say so myself. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen are the future, and they had an elite battle in Saudi Arabia, which I don't know if they should ever race at that track again, but nonetheless, it was a great battle between Max and Charles. Max gets the upper hand this time and gets the win in Saudi Arabia. Lewis had a nightmare. Mick Schumacher happy he's okay after that horrific crash. That was it. It was a messy weekend in F1, but ended with a great battle and a solid race overall, but especially a great battle at the end between Max and Charles. Definitely the future of F1. Very much forward looking to see their battles over the course of the season, seeing what happens. I might watch Drive to Survive to just kind of get more into F1. I've definitely been checking it out a whole lot more. So yeah, what else? I meant to put this in the college basketball segment, but Stanford beat Texas, and who was it? South Carolina? Was it South Carolina that won, or did they play tonight? And it's UConn that advanced. Either way, I can look that up. I got a little bit of time. I know Stanford handled business. Haley Jones and co. get back to the Final Four. They are defending champions. They take down Texas in a close one. They win 59-50. Lexi Hull, she's been big. In big moments, she's been big for the Stanford team. She had 20. Haley had 18 and 12. Even with Cam Brink dealing with foul trouble, they were able to get it done. Were able to move on. And lastly, yeah, South Carolina gets the win over Creighton, who was Cinderella, but no more. Dirty pieced them, 80-50. Aaliyah Boston, National Player of the Year. I mean, 19 and 7. I think she's worthy. I think with the way she's played in this tournament, I would have no qualms with her being National Player of the Year. We'll see with the South Carolina team, the number 1 overall seed. We'll see if they can get that national championship to really put the cherry on top of this generation of Zia Cook, Aaliyah Boston, and Destiny Henderson that Scar has had. Of course, Connecticut faces NC State in a massive game tonight by the time this is out. And Louisville, Michigan as well. Naz Hillman versus Haley Van Lilith and co. And of course, UConn. Paige Buckers, can she get to the Final Four and get a national championship? Despite everything she's dealt with this year, can they get over Alyssa Kunin and co. and beat NC State, prove that they should have been the number 1 seed? A lot of interesting storylines in women's basketball. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. But this is all for episode 86. Of course, I'll see you throughout the week. But for now, prayers. Pray for my state. Alright, pray for my state and pray for my mental state of being on Saturday. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed Ocho signing off.